What is up, my friends? So let's talk about Debs. First and foremost, before we get into anything, I am just hoping that all of you are doing fine with the quarantine and everything, and making sure you practice social distancing, as well as not going out there and being like those spring break groupers where we saw that they just didn't give a shit. So that's my only advice to you, is take this seriously and we'll get out of it as fast as we can. And I'm sending everybody good vibes, good thoughts, and everything. And just stay tuned to what you can do at home. You can stream some music, play some video games, watch some movies, TV shows, watch the channel because we just talk all about the stuff you love. And make sure you subscribe so you know when those videos drop. But let's get into Debs, the TV show that I am binging currently on FX Hulu. So FX and Hulu have a thing now where they are going to be showing their shows. And this is like the starting show, I would say, the one that launched it all. Now you can find American Horror Story, all of that, which is a show that I cover on this channel as well. So if you've already watched the latest season of American Horror Story and just want to get my recap on all of that, make sure you go check out those videos. They're on this channel. And when the new season comes out, which is rumored to have Macaulay Culkin, I'm definitely hopping on that one. But let's talk about Debs, which comes from Garland, who is the director and visionary behind Ex Machina, as well as Annihilation, two of my favorite movies of the past decade. And I'm super pumped to see this show come to fruition after getting so many, I would say, teasers here and there ever since I was watching American Horror Story last year, and I was just waiting for the show to drop. And then after a while I forgot about it because I stopped watching American Horror Story, so I wasn't really watching FX. And then out of nowhere, boom, Hulu and FX, and then I see more trailers and all of that drop for the show. And the show's here now. We're on episode 4, so we're halfway there. It's an 8-part mini-series, so I'm not sure if it's a limited series, however, if we're not going to get a second season, or if it's just all on its own. But nonetheless, I am so pumped with this show. So Debs, if you don't want to know much about it, I would highly suggest go watch it, because if you love sci-fi movies like Ex Machina, Annihilation, and things like that, you should definitely go check out the show before I get into any spoilers of what just happened in the first 4 episodes. But if you're still here and you're still listening, I salute you, because you, one, are probably wanting to talk about the show. So comment below what you think about the show so far. 2, you just don't give a shit about the show and you're just wondering what the hell is it even about, and maybe you'll give it a chance after this. Or 3, you are a real one, my friend, because you don't care about the show, you don't care what's going on, but you're giving me that view. I appreciate that. And subscribe if you haven't already. But Debs pretty much follows a group of people working on a top secret developer program that is in Amaya. Amaya is a tech company that is run by Forrest, who is played by Nick Offerman. And let me tell you, Nick Offerman is amazing in this show. He definitely is pretty much that actor, like, you know how you have in that one show that character that every time he's on, it's just like you're watching and you're so engrossed. He is that character for the show. But basically, Amaya is his tech company, and he has a bunch of developers working on a secret thing in a room that nobody else can go into, and pretty much it's just off limits unless you're invited there. Which brings us to episode 1, when we have a young developer being brought there by the name of Sergey. Now, Sergey turns out to be a Russian spy there. I'm just going to say it like that. And he gets killed after the first episode because they find out he's trying to get information about what's going on back to the Russian intelligence. So they kill him and stage his death as a suicide, which they tell his girlfriend, Lily, who is another main character in the show. This is what happened to him. He died out of suicide. They tell her that in season... Why am I going to say season 2? This is what quarantine's doing to me. Episode 2, they tell her, and they show her footage even of the suicide. Of course, she doesn't feel this is right, and she ends up finding out that he's a Russian spy himself as well, and she meets up with the guy who was basically his mentor of sorts, basically like the one above him who he would report to, and he tells her, like, yeah, it wasn't a suicide, they killed him because he was working with us. Who knows what he uncovered. Episode 3 and 4 deal with Lily trying to deal with all of this, that guy dying as well, the guy that was above Sergey dying, and Amaya is pretty much onto Lily now that she is going to find out the truth about what's going on, and so they're out there now to kill her because they're like, she is a loose end, we can't have that. And pretty much episode 4 is Lily contacting the police for help after Amaya is trying to put her away in a psychiatric ward and never have her come out to see the light of day. And we see her get arrested and taken away, and Lily's ex-boyfriend, who had been helping her this whole time from episode 2 up until episode 4, seemingly gets killed by Amaya's security officer. And that's where pretty much we're at right now. So that's one part of the story. Now the other part of the story has to do with what I said, is that developers that are working on a secret room where they're trying to work with quantum computers. And what we're seeing as the episodes progress is that it is a window into the past, into the future that they're trying to basically crack. Now all that they get is images that are very fuzzy and audio that is inaudible. So they're really working hard to try and figure out how to get this crystal clear and really get that going. At episode 4, one of the young developers, they are actually able to crack the code on how to get a more crystal clear sound. Their way of doing this, they are actually able to have that crystal clear sound of Christ at the crucifixion. Now, earlier in the season, episode 1, I believe, we saw Christ being crucified, but we didn't see it, I would say, clearly. It was all fuzzy, and it didn't look like images. It just looked like sound waves of sorts that all scattered about. Now, by the end of episode 4, they are actually able to hear Christ, and this would make all the other developers happy, except for Forrest, who's like, you just like fucked it all up because you've just gone out and said that there is a multiverse. So everything that we've been watching might not even be real, or listening to it might be in another universe, not our own universe, and basically fires that engineer, developer, whatever, and is like, get out of here, your severance pay is going to be 10 million, do not talk about this or I'll fucking kill you, is what he basically says. And if I was in that room right there working with Debs, I would be like, can I get fired next, because 10 million and I'm gone, deuce. But what we come to find out as the show has progressed is the reason that Forrest gets pissed off about this is because we pretty much can tell that Forrest wants to finish this and make it come true. The program that they're working on, computer project, whatever, is because he wants to see his deceased daughter, Amaya, once again. As we've seen and heard, she has passed. And I really think that it kind of irks him to think that he might be onto like pretty much solving this whole thing. What would it prove to him to see Amaya, to hear Amaya again, when deep down in his head he believes that it might not even be his Amaya, it might be a multiverse Amaya, and that creates all of these different like variables, and he says he wants to keep it concrete and to the point. So that is the reason why he was pretty much pissed off about what happened there. So at the end of the episode, he actually does use the code. Well, he doesn't really use it himself, but another one of the developers there actually uses it, and we get a crystal clear image of Amaya. So come the last 4 episodes, it's going to be interesting to see exactly if the devs are actually going to be able to get it all done and see exactly what this machine is capable of, as well as seeing what's going to happen to Lily, because on a side note, on episode 4, Forrest actually saw Lily's death happen a day after the end of episode 4. So episode 5, we should see if that's going to come true or not. And if it doesn't, it would prove that his quantum computer is definitely not working at all. And it's going to be interesting to see this last 4 episodes, how they wrap up this show, because you have Lily on one side trying to figure out her boyfriend's death and trying to bring down Amaya for what they've done, and on the other side of things you have Forrest, who's trying to get this like revolutionary program off the ground, but who knows what's it going to be used for in the end. So definitely Debs has been glued to the TV, and if you haven't checked it out, I highly suggest you do. Don't take my word for it, just look at how much the ratings have been for the show and go watch it yourself. You still have time to catch up on the 4 episodes, and we're still 4 episodes away from the finale, so I highly suggest you go watch the show. But as I said, my theories on the ending of the show, I think that we are definitely going to see Lily go out and pretty much, I'm like anticipating seeing Lily come into this Deb's room that is so like crazy looking that you just have to watch the show to see it, and just tear havoc all over, and I think that that's gonna get to 4. Especially, could you imagine Lily messing up things for him not to be able to see Amaya again? It's just gonna be insane. I think that Lily is gonna get to that point, and it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how the show will tie it all off. But what are your thoughts on Debs, if you're watching or not? I know that some of the stuff that goes on in Debs can go over our head, and it does get a little too technical, especially that last episode when they're talking about theories and all of this. I was like, what? But on a side note, Google does have a quantum computer. What does that mean for us? Who knows? But it's kind of creepy and scary to think about if they are actually working on things like Debs. But anyways, let me know your thoughts below on the show, and let me know what you're binging and watching with the Corona quarantine. I'd like to know. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers. We are going to be there pretty close. So we're about halfway there right now. So I know we can get there. So make sure you turn on that bell for notifications. Give this video a like and comment below as well. And I'll see all of you next time. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Anchor. Stay positive.